But it was like,
so let me show you guys. I don't know if everybody's noticed. This is all right, this is kind of massive, and I did not do that on purpose. I have had not much time. So for the first time ever, I used the test generator. So that's why this does not look like something I would make. So there is a practice final up. You can just focus on the things you need to focus on if you want to. Several of these are very quick, but look how long this bad boy is. I tried to include a lot of stuff. Holy shit. And then at the very end is a complete answer key with some pictures and stuff. Is everybody with me? So you could use that as a study guide. If you're not done with homework, maybe don't look at it yet. I mean, first thing is homework, but this is a nice way to kind of look through and make sure at least it sounds familiar. If you're like, I have no idea what the answer to that is, then go focus on that or ask a question today. But I think basically everything is represented on here. Now, the actual final will not be this long, right? But I just wanted to try to represent as much as possible, which ended up with a 52 question practice question. So I'm not saying that's how long the actual final is going to be, right? So
how many pages is this one?
I don't know. I really don't know. You can count.
Oh, just 11.
Oh, that's all. Yeah.
11. Yeah.
No problem.
And you said
Volume
the final,
1, huh?
And you said the final has how many questions?
Like double it. No, I'm joking. The final exam. My final exams normally have like 27 questions or something like that.
Okay.
Counting A, B, C, D as always, right?
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, was there something else up here I wanted to show you? I haven't updated grades since the first time I put them up there. So if you're looking at your grade in Canvas, it hasn't been updated since then. So hopefully today, I don't know, man. I need to do it before tomorrow's final so that when you look at it, it tells you what grade you need to make on the final to pass and so forth, right? So I'm going to try to do that. We'll see. But before I do that, I want to try to grade a few more quiz corrections. I think I'm caught up. Well, maybe not. I've got a couple I think I need to do, but I want to try to grade those before I update the grades. Okay.
Well, I haven't turned in all my stuff, so that would be kind of hard to do.
Well, I mean, in that case, so when I put the grades up, they are a worst case scenario then, because
yeah.
Or you turn in, the more corrections you make, the better it gets.
Don't know if I want to see that worst case scenario.
Well, I mean, sometimes it's encouraging, but yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah, you're right. All right. Anybody else? Any questions from anything? Any technical questions? Tomorrow's the last day of class. Holy crap.
I still have a question about just any question on any chapter in general.
Yeah. So just to show you how today's going to work. If you just came in, there is a practice final up on Canvas. You can do it or not. You can ask questions from it for today or not. You can ask questions from any quiz. You can ask questions from any homework. Today is review for the final, so it's wide open.
Okay. I have a question about the it's bugging me because I still don't get it. The Venn diagram that the one that overlaps. There's just two circles that overlap, and then the not P, not Q, that one. I don't know. There's just something I'm missing.
All right, so let's break those down for me. Those are two separate things you're talking about, right?
Yes.
Okay. Am I backwards? I am backwards. Hold on. Why am I backwards?
I think that was chapter 1.
Look at that. It's Evil Jeff. Good Jeff. Evil Jeff. Good Jeff. Okay. God,
yes, that was chapter 1, quiz 1.
Stop it, Jeff. Okay, sorry.
And see, you explained it to me. That's why I'm just like frustrated because.
All right, listen. Now, I helped somebody earlier in office hours, and we had a little bit of a breakthrough with Venn diagrams.
Oh.
Okay, so let's do this because I think a lot of people have this same problem. And the problem is, now as a teacher, I was telling her, we had a little discussion, and I was like, as a teacher, I don't really know what I need to focus on more or not. All right, camera. My camera wants a nap. I understand, camera. All right. When you, okay, why are you not working? Okay, there we go. Oh, you're brand new. Whoa, when did I get you? Neat. Oh, there's the old one. All right, sorry. If I said something like, oh, crap and a half, well, you're not working at all. Jeez. If you are a, I don't know why, if you are a Mormon, I have no idea why that's in my head. If you are a Mormon, then you go on a mission. Okay, that's premise one, right? And then I'm going to have a premise two, and then I'm going to have a conclusion. But let's draw this. You take each premise. Can somebody tell me how many circles I need for this premise and why? How many groups that you could belong to are in this statement?
Two.
Two. What are the two groups? You could belong to the group of
People that are Mormons and others that go on missions.
I like it. Does everybody understand that? I need two separate circles just for this premise. So I need a Mormon circle and a go on a mission circle, right? How do those circles have to relate? Are they not touching? Are they overlapping? Is one inside of another one? Do you understand?
Overlapping. Overlapping.
More than that. These are
well, the one goes in the other. One goes in the other.
True. So the first step is, what are the circles I'm working with? And then the second step is, how do those circles interact with each other visually, right? So I agree with you. There's got to be one circle inside of the other, but what's this one? Yeah. What's this circle? And what's
Go
that?
on a mission? Go on a mission?
No.
Mormons go on a mission. Okay, Mormons right there. Go.
Mormon. All right. We'll call them Mo's. All right. I'm sorry. Hopefully it's not a slur of some kind. I don't know. Mo, is that all right? Do you understand why? Because if you draw it the other way, if I drew it this way with mission in here and Mormon, if you are a Mormon, is that person a Mormon? Yes. Then you go on a mission. Does he go on a mission or she? No. So that's not the right way. So notice that the second thing is the big circle. Because then if you are in here, then you are in here. Is everybody, how are you guys doing out there? So if you're having problems with this, I understand now. I think the problem is you don't start with what are the circles I need. You try to start.
That's a problem. Yep, that's a problem. But right there, you said something really that just clicked. You said the second thing is the big circle.
Yes.
So,
because then if you are this, then you are in this circle. If I am in this circle, then I am in this circle. That's another way to read that. Now, let's say that premise 2 is some mission goers like pizza. We'll just go with Jeff's stream of thought here. So there's several ways I could draw that on here, right? I could actually draw like this, or I could draw like this, as long as the mission and the pizza overlap. Is everybody cool with that? I do need one more circle, the pizza circle, and I draw it on top of this. So let's look at my conclusion real quick. You could do it, Jeff. Mormons like pizza.
So is this necessarily true? Couldn't I draw the second premise like this? Do some mission goers like pizza? Is that true? The second premise.
Yes.
But do some Mormons like pizza if I draw it like this? No, not necessarily.
No, because it's not touching the Mormons thing.
Does the conclusion have to come from these? Well, some people would say, I could have drawn my pizza circle like that, and then the conclusion is true. But does the conclusion have to be true? No, because I could draw it like this. I really want you guys to get that. In order for this to be valid, the conclusion must be inescapable. I like that word. The conclusion must be inescapable for this to be valid. But I can escape it. I can represent this premise, and this does not follow, right? So this would be the evidence that that's not valid. This argument is not valid. Does that help anybody? A lot of you guys are skipping the first step. What circles do I need? And you're just drawing circles and putting words in them. You got to start with what circles, what groups could I belong to? Mormons, I could belong to the mission people, and I could belong to the pizza lovers, right? So I need 3 total circles. I like it. Okay, yeah, good. There's another suggestion. Is that all right, Nancy? Does that help?
Yeah, that's good. And I might listen to the recording later, just because when I'm writing notes, I miss out on what you're saying, because there's sometimes you say like some things that just like snap, and it's like, oh, okay, I got it. Gotcha. So stop and take notes, and then I miss out on the rest.
Understood.
I think somebody posted they wanted to go over negation.
Exactly. That's why I was checking with you if you're good before I go to that.
I'm good. I could use a negation too.
Here we go. Let me say this. I think this will help. The opposite. So if I say some do, some blanks do blank, then the negation would be none do. If I say some don't do something, some alligators don't like chicken, the negation would be all alligators like chicken. Does that help? The opposite of some do is none. The opposite of some don't is all. The opposite of all, now I don't even need to do this. There, right? It goes both ways. The opposite of all do is some don't, and the opposite of none do is some do. Oh yeah. I want you to, so be careful. The word some, you could replace that with at least one. They mean the exact same thing. The word some can be replaced with at least one. Is that cool? In logic, they mean the exact same thing. The word some can be replaced with at least one. So if no burgers are burnt, the opposite would be at least one burger is burnt. You could say that. Or some burgers are burnt. Man, that's a hard thing to say. All right, maybe.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I don't know, I think there's at least one person here that wasn't here earlier. There's a practice final exam that's up on the Canvas. It's not an assignment. You don't have to look at it at all if you don't want to. An answer key is included at the end of that, at the end of that paper, the practice final. And you can ask questions from that right now if you want to, or from any quiz, from any homework, or even just general, what the shit are fallacies, Jeff? You can ask anything. It's crazy. Maybe related to this class would be the best kind of question. Or we can just sit here and stare at each other.
Are you waiting for another question?
Yeah, totally. If
Okay,
nobody's
'cause I
saying
have
anything, then the
truckloads.
floor is yours.
Truckloads. Well, check with somebody else. I don't want to hog up the whole, class.
All right, let's see.
Oh.
They might all just be waiting.
Yes, everybody has their stuff together.
No, they don't. They are hoping someone asks a question. That is
Yeah, and I'm the one who's always, yeah, okay.
It's fine.
Anyways, chapter 1, the oh, it makes me mad. I can't get this. PQ, if P, then Q.
All right, let me do this.
No, wait, hang on.
I'm with you.
Or not Q. I can't remember. That was just recent. We had if P, then
Let's
not
do this.
Q or something
Let's do
like that.
If P, then not Q. Let's do that.
Let's do that.
All right, and let me show you. You don't have to do what I'm about to do if you kind of get this already. But this is if you don't quite get this. There's a little bit more full way to write this out for yourself. You have to start with P and Q. And of course, what do I put here? What has to go here?
True, true, false, false.
Good.
And then under Q, we have true, false, true, false.
All right, no matter what the shit this is,
yeah,
that is what that is.
Yeah. So we always have to start with K.
Now let me show you something. This is going to be a little bit. Let me just show you this. So I've already shown you one way to do this. Let me show you a little bit different way to do this. I did show you this symbol, right? That's what if P then not Q. I'm sorry, I forgot the not part.
You know what threw me off the last few times is there were parentheses, if not P.
No,
and then
I do that so that the only reason I do that is that people understand the not goes with the Q, so that otherwise your brain might overlook things.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I put that in parentheses, is just so you know that that's what it went with. Now watch this. Underneath each of these, I'm gonna put what they are. So isn't P true, true, false, false? Is that cool? So this is more writing than you need, but it makes it a little bit. Let me just finish this out. What do I put here for not Q? Not Q. So what goes here?
False, false.
Yes. No, not Q.
True, false.
Not Q. So not true.
Not true, true.
Yes, false, true.
True, false, and then true.
Good. Now.
Oh my gosh, I get it. Not Q from over there. Oh.
Now you can kind of. Now you see exactly what you're comparing, and what's true about the if then. It's only false if. This is what you have to memorize. You got to know those little sayings. And is only true if they're both true, or is only false if they're both false. If then is only false if. Never heard of it. Swedish chef math. I like it. No.
Hello, it's crazy. Okay, you have Q right. You have Q right there, and then it's like not Q. So it's the opposite of the Q.
That's exactly right. Now help me out. If then is only false if. I think somebody was going to say it. If then.
If both P and not Q.
Stop. If then is only false if true implies false. Does anyone remember that? No? You're all like, dude, that was so 3 weeks ago. If then is only false if true implies false. So that's the one place that's false. Everywhere else is true. Done. And then I do this to show my answer.
Okay, where does true imply false?
Well, you tell me. Where does true imply false? Which row has a T and then an F? Let me take this out. Which row has a T for P? Huh?
That row right there.
Yeah, so then that's the only place that's false. Everything else is true. That's the power of love. No, that's the power of knowing those statements. If then is only false, if true implies false. I find where that's happening, and then I know exactly that's the one place I put an F, and then everything else is true. And is only true if both are true. So if this was an and, then I would put a true only here. So if you don't know those little phrases, you have no idea how to compare these things, right? Maybe you have to, those are sort of like knowing how addition works. So if you know the number 2 and you know the number 3 and you don't know what addition is, then you have no idea what 2 plus 3 is. So if you know the P's and you know the things, the not Q's, but you don't know what this does, then how the shit can you do it? So what does it mean to know what that does? If then is only false when true implies, now I know how this thing works each row. Maybe no. Remember, the phrases were a shortcut to remember the much longer conversation about why if then works the way it does. That's all those phrases are. It's a really little shortcut. Why does it work that way? Because if you do what you're supposed to do and I don't, that's the one time I lied. Right? If you do what you're supposed to do and I do, great. If you don't do what you're supposed to do, I can do whatever the shit I want to. That's the longer explanation about why.
Okay, those are great examples.
Okay.
Right now, the ones you're giving, those are good examples.
They're the same ones I gave before, but that's all right. It's okay. Remember the whole, if you get an A, then I'll buy you a car? You guys remember that? You're like, is that in the syllabus, Jeff? No, it's not. So I don't have to actually do that. So don't get too excited. Mom, I'm going to get a car from my math teacher. No, stop. No. I'll get you a Matchbox car. All right. Is that all right for, does that help anybody out? I don't know. If you're okay with the way we've done truth tables, you can keep doing it the way we were doing it. This is a little more, I really want this to make sense. No matter what the thing is, and, or, if, then, you're always comparing two things. It could be P and this, P or this. If P, then this. You're always going to, so if you do it this way, you know exactly what to look at to compare instead of like looking among different columns. I don't know if you guys are understanding what I'm saying. Some of you guys had trouble because your eyeballs would look at the wrong thing. I understand that.
Can I ask a question going back to the negation? I was going to ask, but
Yes, sure.
of course it's now that you erased it. Going back to exactly what you had just said about the negation, some do, none do, some don't, all do, right? Can you draw those on the board really quick? Some do, none do, and then some don't, all do. Okay, so in the top one, the only thing that's going opposite is the first word, some to none. They both do, right? And then in the bottom one, it's both are changing to opposite.
So
Why?
No, some is not the opposite of all. So you're trying to apply algebraic ideas like distributing a negative. And that's where this isn't algebra, this is logic. And they sometimes look the same and they sometimes
You're giving me the benefit of the doubt of thinking in algebraic.
No, you actually are. You actually are. You are saying, I'm negating something. Why would that change the sign of everything? And in another time, it only changes one piece. That's exactly what you're thinking.
Yeah, like why is it the opposite on one of the things in the top and not both at the bottom? I don't get that.
So it's because you're looking at this word as if it means something by itself. It doesn't.
Okay.
Some do is like the positive. Some do not is like the negative. I mean, that's another way you can look at this. So what's the opposite of the positive is the completely negative. What's the opposite of the negative? It's the completely positive. I mean, that's another way to look at this. It's a little weirder way to look at this, but I don't know if that helps. The word some by itself doesn't mean shit.
Okay.
Does that make sense? If I said some people.
Well, it does on the top one because that's the only thing that got changed.
No. I really want this to make sense. If I just take these away, these don't make shit. They don't make any sense. So I really want this to make if I said what's the opposite of some? What? No. Does some do? Does some don't? That's one idea. Some do is one idea. Some do not is one idea. You're looking at it as if some and don't and some and do are two different things. They're not. I don't know if this helps. I don't know.
Almost, but not.
Yeah, so you are, believe it or not, you're thinking algebraically, not directly, but you expect a negative to only change like one thing. But how else can I explain this? That's a neat. You can do it, Jeff. I don't know if I can. Well, all right. All right. Now watch. All right. This is interesting. Don't write what I'm about to write. Well, let me see. Let me do it again. All right. You're making one new word. Summido. Some do. Get ready. Let's completely kill grammar. Right. Some do. All don't. Some don't. None do. Is that? No, that didn't work, Jeff. None don't. There we go. Oh, that's so weird to me, though. I don't know. I have no idea if you're just getting what the point is. Do you see how now it's like this is completely opposite, but this one I only changed the first word?
Mm-hmm.
Now, but do you also see now how the do and the don't are more important than you thought at first? I mean, they are a central part of the idea, right? So I can do everything in terms of do, or I can do everything in terms of don't. All right, I'm getting way too deep into this. I understand what you're saying. I totally, but the opposite of some doesn't make sense to ask me that. It doesn't. It doesn't make sense to ask me what the opposite of some is. Some do, one idea. Some don't, one idea. So you can't say what's the opposite. You're changing this one, but not that one, because this by itself doesn't mean anything.
Then why change? Then in the answer over here, all do. I don't know. It's not
I understand.
clicking.
I understand.
It's not clicking.
So,
am I the only one? Like, is this confusing?
No, I'm sure you're not the only one.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
John, are you cleared up now with it? Because you originally asked the question. Are you completely good with it now, or are you like still confused the same way?
Sorta. It's sort of like a knowing in which situation that it's the answer is don't and the answer is do, because I remember going over like one of the quizzes was like
Beer.
yeah, like beer. some teachers drink.
Yes.
And so I thought automatically that the negation of that was none, no teacher drinks. But apparently that wasn't correct. So I think
No. You gotta look back. You gotta look back at your problem, because if the statement I gave you was some teachers drink, then the negation would be no teachers drink.
It was a double negation, I think. I have it right here. That one.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It was the last, yeah.
So on that problem, people keyed in.
Here it is. Some math teachers never drink.
So that, I was talking to somebody earlier in office hours. My choice of the word never. What if I would have put, what's another word for never?
Oh, or the opposite? Oh.
No, just another word for never.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Always.
No. Not the opposite of never. Just
Don't.
another word for never is don't.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Some math, look at me. Some math don't drink. Well, I'm obviously drinking. Some math teachers. So I didn't do this on purpose. My choice of the word never threw people off. I will agree to that. But the word never is another word for the word don't.
Okay, so you break it down that way. I get that.
Some math teachers don't drink. Now, the best way to think about that is, how do you show that I'm wrong if I say that? What do you have to show me to prove that I'm wrong if I say some math teachers don't drink?
all math teachers do drink?
You have to
Or-
show me that all math teachers drink. Just please let that make sense. The only way that you can prove to me that I am wrong if I say this, some math teachers don't drink. The only way you can prove to me, if you show me a few that do drink, does that prove that I'm wrong? No, because the ones you didn't talk to don't drink. So the only way you can show me I'm wrong is to show me that all math teachers drink.
So it would be all math teachers do drink?
Yes. Blarf. What am I writing? All math teachers drink. Or you can even say do drink. That's fine. But it's better grammatically. You say all math teachers drink. Let me try something. This is the last thing we're going to talk about because we're getting really deep in the weeds. I understand the concern you're having, but you're trying to make the English language and logic work too much like algebra.
Okay.
You really are, believe me. I understand exactly what's happening. And they just don't. They're very similar, but of course, logic in English is much more amorphous and vague, right? This isn't vague. They're very hard set rules. You can just memorize the rules. But I really want you to understand why they are what they are. It really is, what is the way to show me I'm wrong? That is the negation. That's exactly the way to look at it.
That helps.
Let me try one last thing. How many ways could I write? Could I draw this? I don't know. You guys are like, oh, you're gonna bring Venn diagrams in? Good idea, Jeff. Right? Where'd you go to school to teach? All right. So let me just try. Some math teachers don't drink. Couldn't that be? So here's math teachers. So couldn't I draw it like this? Could I draw it like this?
Yes.
Do some math teachers not drink? Isn't that a way to, are you guys cool with that? Which math teachers don't drink here? That one, for example. Right? Where's Jeff? Jeff is right there. All right. But that guy, this person, does not drink, does he? So does that show some math teachers don't drink? Yes. What's another way to draw this? Some of you guys don't realize you can draw like this. Does this one show me that some math teachers don't drink? Yes.
Okay.
So what is the only way that I cannot draw this statement would be like this. Because I left one out over here. Let me see if I can do this right. Yeah. Here's another way I could draw it.
Now
Jeff.
I'm confused because earlier we said the second thing is the big circle.
Stop. Stop. That was an if-then statement.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So what are the ways I could draw some math teachers don't drink? This one, right? Is that, let me just, I know people hate the Venn diagrams. Just. Doesn't this one say that some math teachers don't, all these people here are math teachers that don't drink, right? So that's one way I could draw it. I could draw like this. This guy doesn't drink. So that one shows me that some math teachers don't drink. This one, what about this guy? Is he a math teacher? Yes. Does he drink? No. What's the only way left that I haven't used that would not mean this is basically this turned around. That's the only way I haven't drawn it yet. That's the guy. That's why that's the opposite.
Okay, you have to
Because
say
it doesn't belong in this group. Okay.
That was good. As much as I hate Venn diagrams, that clicked and helped. Thank you very much.
I like it. And to be honest, I just thought of how to explain it this way. I've never explained this shit this way ever before. And I'm sorry, I'm not tooting my own horn, but this is why I love teaching. I learn all the time from you guys. I do. If that didn't help anybody, I'm sorry. I just hope this didn't confuse anybody more. It's all about, negation is all about what does the original leave out?
Professor, you had mentioned of a way not to do it. Which one was it?
That's that one. Yeah. So
That one.
This is the
How
negation.
not to do it. Okay.
This is the only way to draw the circles that doesn't mean this. Every other way I draw it means this,
That's why that is the negation. And what does that one say? All math teachers drink.
So essentially, like, if the way that it's written is throwing us off, as long as we can understand what it's saying and do Venn diagrams and see whichever idea is being left out or would not be true,
Sure.
is the way to figure it out.
Is this a way you could do this problem? Yes. Holy shit, I would really not do it this way. This is a way I'm trying to explain the idea. But if I were you, I would just do this. I would only do this. I am not a proponent of memorizing things without first understanding, but now that we've discussed fully, now you can just memorize. What does the opposite of sum do? What's the opposite of sum do? No?
None do.
All do. All do. Oh,
Oh.
sorry.
Why is all do not the opposite of some do? Because all do means some do. Do you understand what I'm saying? That they go together. That's the one that completely goes against this. What's the opposite of some don't?
All do.
None do.
All do. If you just memorize this, not absent understanding why these are the way they are, right? That's what the explanation was about. Why are they the way they are? Okay, we went through that. But now you can just kind of memorize this. Some do, opposite is none do. Some don't, opposite is all do. If you just memorize this, you can negate anything I give you. Right? And I'm not saying memorize without understanding. We went through the understanding. Now we come up with a little quick way to remember, right? Okay. The teachers that just start here really get me grind my gears, right? Heather, what's up?
Can I try to simplify it for anyone that may still be
Yeah.
about it?
See if I like what you're going to say and steal it from you.
The best way that I thought about it is the some do also means some don't. So you can't say I lost my train of thought.
I'm with you.
Some do also means some don't.
Yes.
So you can't say all do because some still do. So
Yes.
you have to say none do.
Exactly. So some do also means all do, I just said with Nancy, right? So you're on the right track. That's why these other things cannot be the negation. And again, just think, to me, the easiest way is if somebody said some people like cauliflower, how could I show that person is wrong? I have to show him that nobody likes cauliflower. It's the only way to show him he's wrong, which means that statement must be the opposite of what he said. If somebody said, some people don't like the Lakers, then the only way I can show that person is wrong is that everybody likes the Lakers, right? That's the only way to show that he's wrong, which must mean that statement is the opposite of what that person said. To me, that's the most direct way to think about this. It doesn't jive with negation from algebra, right? It doesn't jive with just changing the word do and don't, right? It's a bigger idea than that, but it's not a difficult idea. Just got to think, how do I show this person's wrong? Yeah.
I appreciate it. I got it quite a bit more. So thank
Good.
you. Thanks.
Yeah, this is
Heather.
good because these are things that came up in office hours. So I'm always like hoping, because I know other people have the exact same question. So it's good that that came up. All right. What else we got?
I think I just got the if not. What we were studying before I'm totally got off subject. Sorry.
So what's up? Sorry.
I'm back at the if P then not Q. I think
Sure.
I just got it.
Oh, good. Okay.
Because in the P you said if then is only false if true implies false. And then in P we have true, and then in not Q
We have false.
there's a false. So then true is implying that false, right?
Cool.
So
that's
then
the
that
only
means
place
if
you would
since
put in
not Q, since not Q is a false, that means true is implying that false.
That's
So
all I can
that
worry
makes-
about is the two things I'm comparing. Where is it T, F? That's where I put my false. Everything else would be true. And that could happen more than once, maybe, depending on the way that the table's set up. But anywhere I see T, F, when I'm comparing two things for an if then, that's the only place I put an F. Those are the places I put a false.
So we're comparing the P and the not Q.
Because
Then we're applying,
those are
that's
the
when
two
we're
things we're
applying that principle. Okay.
Yep.
Then it's only. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I have a question. This one is pertaining to buying a car or leasing.
Okay.
Yep. So this one is from the quiz 4. So
Yes.
decide to buy a new car for $28,000 or lease over a 3-year period under the terms with a down payment of $1,800.
So here's the mistake a lot of people made with that problem. So let me just make up some numbers. Let's say we have a $40,000 car, right? Just to make up a different. You can either buy it and then you're going to sell it, and let's say that the end is 24,000, right? So after 3 years, you're going to sell it here. Is everybody with me so far?
Tracking.
So how much did that end up costing you?
So is this where we subtract 40,000 from 24?
Of course, right? Does that make sense? If you buy it for 40,000, you shelled out 40,000. Now you're going to sell it for 24,000. So what's the net loss? I mean, it's not even. I don't even use that in specific terms. If you buy it for 40,000, you sell it for 24,000. How much did you lose overall?
It's the difference between those two prices, isn't it?
That's right. What is it?
16,000?
16,000. Okay. Now, so that's for buying. So what if I lease? Let's say if I lease, I've got to pay $2,400 down payment plus $380 a month. I don't know how this is going to come. I'm just making this shit up. It's $40,000. I don't care. Who cares? So how would you figure out total after 3 years? So how do I figure out how much total it's going to cost me?
Multiply the 380 a month by the number of months in 3 years.
Which is
36.
cool. And then whatever the hell that, somebody help me out.
$16,080.
So that'd be 2,400 plus 16,080. Is that what you said?
So that would be 16,000. No, the number we gave you, the 1680, was the whole thing.
It already added the 24.
Oh, okay. All right. So you're just gonna not tell me what that is. Okay. All right. Does that make sense? Let me see. 3,800 times 4.
It's 13,680.
All right, I got you. So leasing. This is too awesome. I can't take credit for this. Is everybody cool with the work we've done so far? Doesn't this make? Please let this make sense. So this one, at the end of the lease, you could have bought it for $24,000. That has nothing to do with the cost of the lease, though. How much did I pay for the lease? For the leasing for 3 years, I paid $16,080. And then I decide not to buy it, so I don't pay any more money. This one, I buy it and then I sell it, and that one cost me $16,000. Which one is better to do, although only slightly better?
Buying it and then selling it.
You got the $80, man. That's like 1 month payment for your internet. Awesome. That's exactly the work you do on this problem. That's it. That's the work for the problem. It's how much total cost is there for buying the car, because you're going to sell it back. How much total cost is there down payment, monthly payments? How much does that total up to? And then you step back and say, which one was better? Well, this one would cost me a little bit less. So that one's technically better.
And I don't know if this helps at all, but I just added up all the negatives and then I just offset it with the positives. Even though I knew I was adding or subtracting, I put little pluses and minuses by it, because that kind of helped me realize like the money that was coming back in.
Oh, okay, sure. I mean, sure, that works. But it's even more direct than that. I mean, we kind of know these are both negatives, right? Because I'm losing that money, but I don't even have to bring the negative into play. It's just I'm looking at cost here and cost there, and then I can compare. Does that help? Is that better for that problem? That's all you have to do for that problem. Hello?
Yeah, that's good.
That didn't sound convincing.
It's more of my frustration with myself of not following through.
Okay. So the mistake people made was when I said at the end of the lease, you could buy it for $24,000. I didn't say you do. You don't. You give it back. So after 3 years, how much money have you paid in each way? Well, this one 16,000 and this one 16,008. So the mistake people made was thinking that at the end of the lease you could buy it for 24,000. I didn't say you did. You don't buy it. You just have that option. Okay. All right. Okay. Has anybody ever leased a car before? You do realize there's other things that come with the lease that make it maybe a better option. Like, don't they, the repairs and stuff? I don't even know. I've never leased, but I've heard that there are advantages to leasing that didn't come into this problem. But this problem is very simple. It's just looking at cost. Okay. I've had people bring in personal experiences like, well, in this situation, you can actually do this. And I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. But I always mean just what's on the paper. You know, there's always other things, right? Is this the only thing you look at if you're considering a buy or lease? No, this is not the only thing, but this is definitely one thing you look at. Okay. I can't wait till I can actually go to a real person to get my hair cut. I've cut my own hair.
You can go now. They're open.
I don't know. Well, I still
Yeah.
can't because I won't let myself go.
Oh,
Yeah. Anybody else? You guys, if nobody's asking questions, then the floor is yours.
For section 5D, for the pneumonia, cardiovascular, tuberculosis, and cancer
Wait,
graph question.
5B.
5D.
5D.
Yeah.
D is in dog.
D is in dog. Yeah. It was
Okay,
number 21.
Oh shit. Hold on. All right. Book cooperate. 21. All right. Someday I'll get there. Holy shit. Where are you? Here. Nope. I'm still not there. There's a lot of pictures here. So there's a lot of. Okay. Here we go. Use figure 514. All right. So let's see.
I had done it, but my question is, because we're supposed to figure out the values of like wherever the line was at a specific point in time, but with how that the like how the notches on the left, like I think it was like number of deaths. Were you like, are we supposed to just eyeball it and assume?
Yes, totally.
So as long as we're within like a specific range, it's
Yeah. I mean, it would have to be pretty far off for me to say no, you know.
okay.
Let me look at this real quick. Where's this stupid thing? 514. Where are you? All right, there's 515. Yay. No. Here it is. All right, guys, let's talk about death. That's fantastic. So trends in death rates. Yeah, so this is, see how they put some like little 620, 180. That's just eyeballing it. Is it exactly 180 right there? Probably not. Is it exactly 620 right there? Probably not. Who knows? So yeah, totally eyeballing it. So could two people have different answers here? For sure. Are there wrong answers? Definitely. But they'd have to be off by a lot. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you take the difference in these to tell the overall death rate for that year, right? So when you eyeball these kind of things, it's easy to eyeball a little bit wrong, but that's fine. I expect variation in the answers. Is that cool?
Yeah, thank you.
Sure. So graphical displays are never meant to give accurate, precise numbers. That you have to use a table for. Graphical displays are to give an idea of what's going on. So you're right. It's not a good. That's why I always want raw data. I'm always like, don't make a graph for me. Just give me the numbers, because I want to know the accurate, exact stuff, right? But yeah, so I accept stuff that's a little different for that kind of problem. If you have a question, now it's your time to shine.
I have a question. Can we go over question number 6 of quiz 4?
Let me see. Quizzes. Quiz 4. All right, let's see, number 6. Oh, the tax rate one?
Yes.
Tax rate. All right, let me do this. Let me, hold on, give me a second. Let me put, that's, well, it doesn't matter, Jeff. Quiz 4 up here, so then you can see this. All right. Pop, right? One mistake people made was, like, here's an example of one of the versions of the quiz. So some people had Harold filing separately, married but filing separately, right? Some people had Harold and Kumar filing jointly, right? Some people thought they were supposed to use standard deductions and stuff on this. Why is that not true? What do I tell you? What is this? Is that their gross income?
That's the taxable income.
Taxable, it's already been adjusted, right? So you do not have to take these into account. They've already been taken into account. All right, so married filing separately. I look at this column here, right? You guys all with me? And then, now here's the part that gets more interesting. And again, it depends on how much you've done the homework and the examples in there. You would do 10% of 9325 plus 15% of the difference between these two. Is anybody not understand that? So I've already taxed up to this. I'm not going to tax up to this again. I'm going to tax how much is above 9325 up to 37,950. So I do 15% of 37,950 minus 9325. And then I do 25% of 76,550 minus 37,950. I'm only taxing the amount of money you made in between those things. And in this specific one, it's 97 something. So then I would do plus 28% of 97 something minus 76,550. So let me see. Oh, come here, you. Where are you? There you are. So let's see. 9325. So if your taxable income was $8,000, your tax would be 10% of 8,000. You're done.
Excuse me, Professor.
Yes.
I don't know if it could help her, but on page 265, right next to that chart,
Yes.
there is a really good example. There are a couple examples
Yeah.
right there.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm
And they're
assuming those
really,
have been
really
looked at because we're all good students and we all look
Yeah.
at them.
Just FYI, because that
I'm
really
with
helps. So
Yep.
you can know that.
Always look at the examples. Now, so pretty cool with that. If I only made $8,000 taxable income, I would pay 10% of 8,000. I would pay $800, and that would be it. I would be done. If I made $10,000
taxable income, I would pay 10% of the first $9,325 plus 15% of the amount over 93.25. That's the point I try to make to you when we first started talking about income taxes. Politicians will say, oh, look, they got to pay 70%. No, they don't. They pay 70% above $1 million or something insane. Holy shit, they can handle that, right? But they want to make it sound as if, and a lot of Americans believe, somehow they believe this, that if you raise the tax rate, it affects all of your income. No. Right? If I made this become 18, I'm still only paying 10% on the first $9,325. That's doesn't affect that. What am I paying 15% on? The amount between not 10,000 and 93.25. I don't know. Does that help? I mean, the next level was 37,950. So this would be the tax for $10,000. This would be a tax for $8,000. So what if I made $40,000? Then I would pay 10% on the first 93.25, 15% of the amount between 37,950 and 93.25. Somebody's calling me. Dadgummit. Plus, the next tax bracket is 25% of the amount between 40,000 and 37,000. What was it, Jeff? 950. So I don't know. So then you would just multiply and add these things up. And like Nancy said, there's some really good examples that basically show you exactly what I'm showing you for multiple different amounts in multiple different situations. Is that all right? So that's all that problem is where's the income, the taxable income? Where, between what things? Okay, right there. So then I got to add up this and this until I get to the amount that I make. And I only go that far into the 25% tax bracket then at that point. Okay, I don't know. Is that better? Your work should look like this. At some point, could you go over question 30? Sure. Anything else about the income tax stuff? You guys okay?
You know, I noticed something that really helped me with that when I did that income tax. I don't know her name, the one that asked the question. In the example on page 265, you see a pattern. You can see a pattern in the numbers. So when you go to the next level, you deduct the previous number. You go to the next level, you deduct it. So you can see the basic patterns of how you just transfer the numbers over. And then it's like, oh, okay, I get it.
See right here.
Yeah, those right
Look
there.
exactly
Okay, look
like-
at
yeah.
if you see in the second bracket, you see where it says 15%, and then it says 37,950 minus 932,9325. Notice the 9325 is on the left side. See how it's in the first section? And then in the last section at 25%, you go 79,600, which is their taxable income. And you deduct the 37,000 that's right there from the previous column.
Because you only pay the higher and higher percentages on the amounts of income that are between those amounts, like between these amounts and so.
Because they're not going to tax you 25% on the 10% bracket.
There's a really good video that I'm sharing on your home. If I can find it, it's really kind of neat. It talks about these as buckets. So there's a 10% bucket, and there's a 15% bucket, and there's a 25% bucket. So if you got some money, $80,000, 9,000 of it goes here. And then 37,000, whatever, minus 9,000 goes here. And then it fills up. And then you put, and I don't know if that, if I can find that. I don't know if that would help anybody. The idea of it being buckets, in each bucket, you fill up the bucket, and then whatever money you got left, you start filling up the next bucket, and you keep going. So every time, so if I was in this situation and then I made $1 more, let's say this fills up, then I would go to the 28, but I would only pay 28% on that $1. That's the whole idea of income tax, and that's the idea that so few people seem to understand, and that's why they're easily manipulated by idiot politicians. Keep your money. You got to build roads. Oh, well, too bad. Sorry. Bringing my own politics in. Where we're going, we don't need roads. Well, good thing. All right. So anything else about income tax stuff? So I got a question from chapter 6A, page 384. Let's see. Number 30. Oh, neat. Oh, all right. I understand. This one, yeah, okay. This one's a little bit freaky. Would you expect there, so if this question is, and let me put this up. So they're asking you what would it look like if you drew this? Do you believe there's any reason that the last digit in people's addresses should more often be 0 or 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5? It should be flat. Yeah. You could argue maybe for some reason it would be more zeros, but that doesn't make sense. One side of the street's even, one side of the street's odd. There could be anything. There could even be, you can argue there's fractions, but let's say ignoring the fractions, right? Because I used to live in a blah, blah, blah and a half. Is that all right? Does that make sense?
I understand that. I was stumped on number 27, and I know that the answers are in the back for it. But like, if I had to do it on my own and draw the bell, I only asked for number 30 because it's in the same section, but and there's no answer to it. So maybe 27 would be more.
So like 50 students, when 5 students scored between 90 and 100. Let me see. 10 students scored between 80 and 89, 20. Oh, you can kind of graph this out a bit, right? With their scores spread out to a low of 40. Yeah, only 15 had below a 70, right? So yeah, you can sketch this bad boy out. How many peaks does this have? Look at this. 50 between 90 and 100, 10 between 80 and 89, 20 between 70 and 79. You would think that the peak would occur where? Where most students. I'm sorry, what am I looking at? 5 students scored between 90 and 100, 10 between 80 and 89, 20 between 70 and 79. I'm not sure how else to say that. Where do you think the peak would occur, possibly? So that one, there's a few different questions you can answer, but there's a definite answer to skewness. Where did most students score?
Like, should we actually make a sketch and do every little point on it to figure everything out? Like,
not every little point, because they don't give you, but they just give you ideas. So yeah, part B is make a sketch. So I mean, where did most students score? So here's 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So where should the peak be? 5 students scored between 90 and 100. 10 between 80 and 89. 20 between 70 and 79. And 15 were between 40 and 70, right? So between 70 and 79, there are 20 students. So, I mean, I would expect the highest peak to be in here, and then it kind of juts off below there. That would be an acceptable, because most of them were in here, right? There's 20 in there. And then there's, what was it? 10 in here, and there's 5 out there. And then below 70, there's, what did it say, 15? Yeah, 15 are down there. So these guys are like spread out. These guys are really concentrated. I don't know. I just gave the answer for part B, but does that make, it's almost impossible to explain that without just doing it. So this helps you answer the question about, is it symmetric or skewed, right? Because it's kind of spread this way. I call skewed, I don't know if you guys are going to enjoy this. I call them Job of the Hut. Job of the Hut distributions. No? Big job, and then this tail comes out. All right, I'll stop. You guys don't like, I don't like Star Wars, Jeff. I understand. Some of their movies suck bad, but Star Wars universe is the best. Is that all right, guys? Are you guys anything else about that, or anything else? Are you guys?
I have a question for quiz 5.
Yes.
And question 2, where it talks about how to construct a confidence interval.
Quiz 5. Oh, the confidence interval. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I wasn't 100% sure about.
I like it. You were like 80% confident. So if I tell you, if I say 70%, give or take 5.2%, that is all you do. You take 70% plus 5.2, and you take 70% minus 5.2. So that would be anywhere from 64.8% up to 75.2%. That would be the confidence interval.
So the 5.2 is the margin of error?
Yes.
Oh.
So margin of error means that's how much I think I'm off by. Off by means up or down that much.
Okay. And when do we know if is, like, for example, on this example, or let's imagine a different question where they are asking us about like how confident we can be, like comparing two different percentages.
Do you have an example of where they do that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think about it. I don't want to give the same question for quiz 5.
Oh, I didn't ask that question, did I?
Where it talks about the election, and it says that this is a presidential election. One candidate got 52.8%.
Oh, okay. Now listen. So if I make a confidence interval and it's from 49, gosh. All right. If I make a confidence interval and it's from 49% to 53% for candidate A, can you say for sure he's going to win?
No.
So if I made another confidence interval and it's 51% to 54%, are you more sure that candidate A is going to win?
Probably.
Yes. Why aren't you 100% certain? Because like you're saying, I didn't get into that detail. You could have brought that up, and I was going to wait and see if anybody brought this up, but you're never 100% confident. But if you make a confidence interval and it doesn't go below 50% for your guy or girl, then you have a really, 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 really high chance of winning. But if it does dip below, then it's like, whoa. So there's a question like, should that person concede if it's this situation? No, because there's a chance. You shouldn't even concede here, to be honest, but I mean, still, that's the point of it, is just, what does it mean? What is confidence interval? How do I interpret it? right?
Mhm.
Is that all right?
Yeah, but what happens like when it gets like 95%? That's like 100, almost 100% sure, right? That's kind of
Sorta.
gonna win.
The only way to be 100% sure is to be 0% to 100%. That's the thing to remember. So you might think in your brain that 95% is close to 100, and it sort of is. But 100% would mean 0 to 100. That's the only way you could be 100% certain that your interval catches the real percentage, right?
Okay.
And why is
and
that? Because it's based on a sample, and the sample could randomly not be represented.
right.
Yeah.
And can you repeat how we use the margin of error? Like how we
It's
use it
just,
for?
so margin of error is just the amount that I add and subtract from the percentage that I got.
Oh, yeah, that's where you
It's
got.
like in
64%.
English we say give or take, right? How many people
Mhm.
come in? 20, give or take 5. So 5 is the margin of error.
All
5
right.
is kind of like the fudge factor. So then you're like, oh, we better get 25 chairs then just to be safe.
Mhm. So
Right.
when you're asking for constructing a confidence interval, we have to do add and
Yeah,
rest
add
the
and
margin of error and.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's why we call it an interval, because now it's from something to something. So it's an interval of numbers.
And if the other candidate got a lower percentage than that margin of error, then we know that that candidate is going to win, right? Because.
Well, this is really good evidence that this person's going to win. Is it proof? Never.
Right.
It's
Okay.
not 100% confident, but it's really good evidence. This is really good evidence that this person shouldn't drop out,
Right.
because there's a chance that the other guy doesn't get a majority, right? I mean,
Okay. Thank you.
There's a really good example of that in the book. I read it like right before the test, and I'm so glad I read it because I was able to understand it.
yes.
It just helped me. So when I saw it, it was like, oh yeah, I got this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there. It's there in the book. It talks about the about the confidence
I should just use this video
level.
first day of my classes of you saying, oh, it's a really good example, because it's all, you know. Oh,
No, I just need to do that with the P if not Q and not Q, P.
yeah. And I mean, sometimes the book doesn't explain it the best, but there's always examples. Yeah. And appreciate, I think I told you guys, you get to a certain level of math and the book has no examples. Concept questions. And I'm like, no. So appreciate that the examples exist. Entered the boring part of today.
Perfect.
Like that. I had this one because we had a meeting yesterday and somebody had their little granddaughter there and she loved dinosaurs. So I kept changing my background. I made the dinosaur one and she was like, oh. So guys, I have nothing planned, right? So it's totally up to you if you have questions.
Okay, so can we go over the bonus question that was on quiz 4?
Quiz 4. Wait, let me see. There's a few things happening at your house. All right, let me see.
All the time.
I understand. I was dating somebody a while back with a couple kids, so that was basically the way the house, and we had a dog, so that was basically the way the house sounded all the time. Number what now?
The bonus?
Oh, the bonus. Oh yeah. Beautiful. I was wondering if anybody would ask about this bonus. When you do that, when you solve that bonus question on quiz 4, you should end up with like 0 equals 0 or 9 equals 9 or something like that. What does that mean? So I like that some people got 0 equals 0 and then you just circled it. Like
I have proven that 0 is 0, Jeff. Where's my my Nobel Prize in mathematics? Yeah. So what does that mean? So when you solve an equation and you get x equals 1, that means that the equation is true when x is 1. When you solve an equation, so that's always the way to interpret it. So if you solve an equation, you get 0 equals 0. That means the equation is true when 0 equals 0. When does 0 not equal 0?
Never.
Never. So the equation's always true. So what's the answer? All real numbers.
Ah, okay.
I think one person got that right, if I remember correctly.
I think I wrote that and you marked it wrong.
You might add a version where the answer is no solution. I don't know. Let me see.
It depends on which version of the quiz you had. You might, let me see what happened. Was it quiz 4? Yeah. No, Jeff. Ah. All right, Reginald, let me see. There you go.
I put zero equals x instead of 0 equals
Well,
0.
there you go. Yeah.
That's why.
So x equals
Whoops.
0 would not lead you. So you got the right answer for the wrong reason. You see, I put a little check mark.
Yeah, I see.
So yeah, and that's bonus. I don't have to give you anything, but yeah, you got the right answer. Yeah, you got the right answer, but it didn't quite follow, right? All right. I really don't mind if you guys don't have many questions, but it's really up to you what we discuss. And again, if you haven't looked at the practice final, you might want to give that a quick glance through, and maybe you can say, I don't remember how the hell to do this. Everybody's aware there's a practice final up there, I think, right? It's really long, but you don't have to turn it in. I don't want to see that. You guys all aware? What time are my extra office hours today?
Was it 5 to 6?
5 to 6. That's right. That's when I'm done with all my 3 meetings today. So I'm going to be tired, Jeff, but they'll be all right. They'll be all right.
Okay, on the practice, can we look at number 45?
Oh, that one's a good one. All right. So 2 6-sided dice are rolled. What is the probability that the 2 numbers obtained differ by more than 2? Ooh, I like it. So can somebody tell me, do you remember when we constructed the sample space for flipping a coin right twice? Why is this one going to be harder to create? Because how many outcomes are there for one die?
6.
6. And when I'm flipping a coin, it's only 2 per coin, right? So this is, now watch, this is what you really have to do for this problem. Here we go. So this is number 45. You roll 2 6-sided dice, and I want to know what's the probability that the 2 numbers obtained differ by more than 2. If you can write everything that might happen, then I can just count the answer. I can just count how many times does that happen. Does that make sense? Probability, if I can show myself everything that could happen, I can just count what matches what I'm looking for the question. Does that's the fundamental idea of probability. Fundamental. So what does this sample space look like? I don't know. All right. Here's the best way to construct it. You guys understand what's happening right now?
Not really.
So this would be if I roll a 1 on one and a 1 on the other. I roll a 1 on one and a 2 on the other.
Tracking.
Isn't this everything that could happen? Why is it bigger? Remember when I flipped a coin twice, it was just this? Why is this such hell? Because there are 6 options for each. Can somebody tell me, if there are 6 options for each die, how big should this list end up being? 6 times 6, 36. Why was this only 4? 1, 2, 3, 4, because there's only 2 options. 2 times 2 is 4. 6 times 6, 36. Oh, Jesus. All right. I'm not going to do the whole thing, but now you got to finish that out. Ooh, this is such a yummy problem. And you're all like, not only is that wrong, that's just gross, Jeff, but it's yummy. It's yummy. It says, what is probably that the 2 numbers differ by more than 2? So then I just got to find out, well, how many times is the difference more than 2? Isn't the difference more than 2 here, here, and here? Do you see what I'm saying? 4 minus 1, 5 minus 1. Isn't that more than 2? Is this one more than 2? No, that one's equal to. Where's it more than 2 here, here, and here? Where's it more than 2 here, here? Right? And then let me do one more column. Where's it more than 2 here? That's 3. That's 2. That's 1. That's 0. That's 1. That's 2. So it's only here. I really, is there a quicker way to do this? There sort of is. It's a little bit freaky. But the best way to kind of show yourself what's going on is to make a complete list. You guys understand that there's 2 more rows to do, or columns?
Okay.
Okay. Is that like a quick problem? No. Is that an easy problem? Yes. Because it's going to be out of 36. How many? And so far I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I just find out how many more things differ by 2. And then it'll be that many divided by 36. Done. Next.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Why are some answers out of 3 and out of 4? Because that might be reducing. So they do give you reduced as an option. I don't know. Do you guys remember? Have you guys ever seen a multiple choice answer from me? Multiple choice test? Besides this one? No, because I don't do. You don't want me to make a multiple choice test. You do not want me to make that.
Excuse me, Professor, you said that many divided by 36?
Totally, because what's always on the bottom of a probability?
The total.
The total number of things that could happen. And if I finish making this list, that's all the things that can happen, and there will be 36 of them. There are 36 possible outcomes for rolling 2 dice. A 1 and then a 1, a 1 and then a 2, a 2 and then a 1, a 2 and then a 2, a 3 and then a 1, a 3 and then a 2, blah, blah, blah. All right.
So it will or won't be multiple choice tomorrow?
It will definitely not be.
It won't be. Okay. And there'll be room for us to print it out and work and show our work on the paper like all the other stuff, because there isn't
Yes.
really on this one. Okay.
Yes. Okay. And I know this one's different because I don't know if you guys understand, but if I was to create a practice final from scratch and a final from scratch, that's a lot of time. So I just did not have that much time. So I decided just to use the test generator for the first time ever.
We appreciate this. This is a great tool. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. That makes me feel a little better. Yeah.
Could you give us a reminder as to how the not mock grades, but the ones that you put as like if you turn no homework in, this is your grade?
Oh, yeah.
Could you just give us another run through of that, like how it's going to be by the final? Or?
Yeah. So hopefully today, by the end of today, if not the end of today, then tomorrow, I'll try to get up early. We'll see what happens. I will update the grades. So you'll see your overall average. You'll see what that would be with no homework turned in. You'll see what that would be with all the homework turned in. And then you'll see what you need to make on the final. I might just have time to do what you need to make in the final to pass. right? If I have time, I can make one that's what you need on the final to make a B, what you need on the final to make an A. Are you guys, does that make sense? In those
What a
different,
rock star.
huh?
I said, what a rock star.
Well, I've got to do it first. Don't give me accolades until, I mean, tomorrow could be not done. I'm like, yeah, it's too damn bad. I'm tired. So we'll see if it actually happens. No, it will definitely happen. I just don't know how much I'm going to be able to put in there. Yeah.
I was
What
just,
time
I
is the
don't
final?
know if it's possible to do all the homework.
I know, it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. And you know what to do in that case, don't you? Right? You know what I'm saying? You know what to do in that case. You just don't do it all. You do a decent amount of it and you turn that in. And then I'm going to yell at you and you're going to say, oh, you yell away, Jeff. I'm doing what I can. Because I'm going to do my job. Your job is to take what I've given you and make it work for you. That's the student's job. My job is to give you what I think you need to get the information to pass the class. And then your job is to go, well, this is my life and this is the time I have free. So because that's what I did. That's what everybody does.
Yeah, exactly.
And then some people just don't do any homework because they're like, oh, you gave me so much homework, I didn't do any of it. That makes negative sense. That makes negative sense, right? What kind of a protest is that? That's only hurting you.
When
And
is
then
the
I have
latest-
less stuff to grade then. That's not even hurting me.
When is the latest we can turn on our homework? Till when?
Oh, by the final. So don't try to give me stuff after the final. Finals
By the final,
appropriately
tomorrow
named.
morning.
Yes.
What time is the final?
9:30 is when it officially starts. So tomorrow's the same as always. I'll have office hour start at 8. Class starts at 9. First 30 minutes devoted to whatever questions. We start at 9:30 for the final.
And how much time do we have for the final?
2 hours and 15 minutes. That is in the syllabus and on the homework sheet.
Okay, and there are 20 some questions, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
upper 20s.
So homework is due by tomorrow morning. Okay.
Yeah, and I never make a test that is designed to take that much time.
Okay.
Some of you guys might disagree with me, but the amount of time it takes for students to turn it in is not quite normal, but there are some that turn it in very quick, and then there's a big chunk in the middle, and then there's some that take the whole time. Does that make sense? So
Oh yeah, yeah.
very
That's me. I
infrequently
take
does
the
it
whole
look like
time.
this, where everybody takes all the time. That almost never happens. I don't design them to take that much time. Hopefully you guys agree with me that the things I've given you have not been designed to take as much time as I give you. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that because believe me, I use up that time.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm in a hurry and I use up all the time. So thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate.
That's what every teacher should do. But let me see. Maybe I play around with my background some more. I seriously have nothing going. So if you have quiz correction stuff to do, you can ask questions from that. If you have, what's this one? Oh yeah, no, that one either. That's Ruth Bader Ginsburg throwing Trump out. Being Seinfeld. Does anyone know that one? No.
Is it Wayne's World?
Wayne's World, yeah. Wayne's World, party time. Here we go. I'll stick with this one.
All right. Well, since no one's asking, ooh, that's nice. Here we go. On the wait, what am I looking at? Section 5, practice.
Wait,
It,
section 5 practice. What's that
yeah,
one?
there's a
Oh, the
practice
handout.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. All right, where are you? Here we are. Okay, I'm ready.
All right. So number 3. 6 dogs are selected from each shelter.
Yes.
I don't think I understand that.
Oh, I think this is the same kind we talked about earlier. So, so number 3 on the, here, let me show everybody. 6 dogs selected from each shelter. Did I post the answers to this or something? We went over this in class, right? Yeah. What would this is not part of the question, but can somebody tell me what the population seems to be? For 3C. No?
Dogs?
More specific.
Dogs in shelters.
All right. And then you're missing one word, because I would say which dogs?
All dogs.
All dogs in shelters. I like it. So is the population broken up into groups? Like if I selected students from different classrooms, if we were back on campus, the population is broken up into classrooms. If I selected people from zip codes, the population is broken up into zip codes. Is this population broken up?
Yes, because they're each shelter. They're different shelters, right?
Different shelters. So the population of dogs that I'm looking at are broken up into groups belonging to different shelters. So what 2 options could it be? What 2 methods breaks the population up into groups?
Stratified and cluster.
Yes. Now, that's step 1. Is everybody with me so far?
Okay.
Then this is 6 from all, some from all, right? Some dogs from all shelters. Does anyone remember which one that is? Uh-oh, there's a chat. I can't handle all this technology at once. Chat won't show up for me. Why don't you come to me, chat? Well, screw it. I don't know. Can somebody read the chat for me? Does anyone want
He
to
wants
talk?
to know if he can turn his homework in now or if he has to wait till tomorrow. I'm assuming they can turn it in like
turn it
right
in
now.
any damn time, please. Just don't try to give it to me. Don't try to give it to me after the fun. So anything you haven't turned in yet, you can just turn in tomorrow, or you can turn it in today. If you turn it in today, hopefully you understand I am not going to look at it. I think I have.
And FYI, he said it's from your favorite Mexican.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. So many renames. Does that make sense out there? I'm sorry. I can't see chat right now. Coming back to this problem. Did we figure it out? I can't remember now. It is stratified because that's the one that's sum from all, right? Sum from all is stratified. All
Okay.
from sum is the other one. Cluster. Yeah. So is there a cluster one up here? Is one of these cluster?
B.
Yes. All from sum. Bam. All from sum. All right. Oh, so the thing that, there, now I can see chat. Okay. The thing there is, if you think the answer is random, stop and make sure that there's no structure to it, right? There's no system, there's no method that I'm using to pick. I didn't break them into groups. I'm not taking every whatever one, right? So random would be, we use a number generator to select people. That's random. There's no real method to that. I didn't break them up into groups, right?
Okay.
I like it. I don't really play Minecraft. I got this background from when I FaceTime my niece and she loves, I think I told you guys that. Blocky clouds, I love it. All right, anything else, guys? So I'm not just talking about my backgrounds. What else do I have here? I like this one, of course. It's my happy place. I'm just gonna play with my backgrounds until you guys have questions.
That's my favorite.
I want the background sound effects and stuff. Oh, did you guys know that George Takai, Mr. Sulu, he was at the city council meeting last night in La Mesa City. He wasn't there. He it was virtual, but they're naming January 30th. Now I've already forgotten the dude's name, but it's in honor of somebody from when we interned Japanese people into internment camps. Yes, we actually had internment camps in the United States after the attack on Pearl Harbor, because it's very American to do that kind of thing, believe it or not. But anyway, so that was kind of neat. He was there. He was talking. It was awesome. I don't know if you guys understand. I'm being very honest. I have nothing. I like this one, of course. This one sums up 2020. Oh, there's my dinosaurs one. This is for when I have somebody that has a clock in the background. Somebody had a bike sitting up behind them, so I'm like, look at me, I got more bikes than you.
I'm sorry, I'm asking all the questions, but
no, feel free, please. Dear God, stop me from talking about my stupid backgrounds. What's up?
Okay, so when we're talking about sampling poles, how kind of I can't remember his name on the confidence levels. What's the determination that it's in there? It's in there. I just can't word it right. Here, let me get a question from the text from the.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. So when would it be important to know anything beyond the 95% confidence?
Oh, if we were in a statistics class, we would be going over the formula behind confidence intervals. In fact, I think I showed you guys that formula at one point, just to show you that one exists. And then there is a part of the formula that changes if I want to make a 90% confidence interval or a 98% confidence interval or a 95%. There's a part of the formula that changes. And it should make sense that if I want to be more confident from 95 to 98, the interval gets a little bigger.
And the interpretation of that is based on, like, how do we interpret? Is it based? That's what I'm having the issue with.
So once I construct an interval, I could say, if I construct a 95% confidence interval, I would say I am 95% confident that my interval catches the real mean or percent of the population. That's the interpretation. Did something in the homework actually ask you to interpret something? It might have. I can't remember that. But that's well, for whatever reason you're asking, that's what it is. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that a new question? Let me see. For quiz 5, question 1B. No, that's the one thing I won't talk about. No, I'm joking. Let me see. Quiz 5. That's the last quiz book, right? Let's see. Where are you? All right, I gotta go this way. Let's see. Assignments. There it is. Okay. Which one? Number 1B. Okay. Oh.
That one about the wine drinkers?
Yeah, she happened to have the same. There were a few different versions of this. So you got to be careful. All right. All right. If I want to study the connection between drinking and stomach cancer, my population can't be everybody who has stomach cancer, right? Because if I want to study the connection between drinking and stomach cancer, don't I want people with and without to compare, right? So you didn't even have to think about that to that level though. Who am I gonna, so there's one problem that said, oh yeah, sure. Researchers in Ecuador studying the link between the amount of wine someone drinks and the occurrence of stomach cancer, randomly selected so many people to be in their sample. So what would the population be? Who could they have chosen? That's what the population is. And the correct population is not all wine drinkers, because didn't they pick some people that weren't wine drinkers? So go ahead, I'm sorry. Who could they have picked?
So it will be all people who have stomach cancer.
Definitely not. Because then you couldn't do the study. If they want to know if drinking wine affects you having stomach cancer, don't they want to see, do the people that drink have a higher occurrence of stomach cancer? Right? So who could they have picked? Anybody in Ecuador.
Yeah, like all people living in Ecuador.
Yes, all people living in Ecuador, exactly.
Oh, I see.
Yes, and then the sample is, you can even just copy what I wrote, the people that they chose. Or you can add them up. Some people added them up and said this many people that you chose, you randomly selected. Beautiful, beautiful.
Now, for here, where it says, I put 41 heavy wine drinkers, 52 light wine drinkers, and 48 people who don't drink wine. To me, it was like, why do we have to pick the ones who don't drink wine if they don't drink? So I'm sure that that was part of the sample, or people that they considered. And you underlined the don't drink wine, and there was an
Well, I
explanation.
underlined the don't drink wine to show you why your population was wrong. How could your population be all wine drinkers if some of the people they picked don't drink wine?
Hello. Okay.
Okay. I like it. Hey, Mikey. Oh, sorry. There was a question. All right, let me do, since we're on quiz 5, let me do Caitlin's question, then I'll go back and do Alejandra's question. What is it now? Number 4B. Okay, 4B. Someday it will load. Hello, there you are. Oh, I don't know. Which problem did you have? Did you have the acupuncturist, or what was the other one? I don't know. Let me look you up. There we go. That would have been smarter, Jeff. You had the pharmaceutical company, right? And you want 4B. Oh, so those of you that had the pharmaceutical company, just tell me, what is it they want to study? Caitlin, tell me, what is it they want to study? No? What is it they want to examine?
I can't remember, so I'm looking.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
A new medication to lower blood pressure.
So they want to know about the medication. They want to know what effect the medication has. Confounding variables would be other things that could affect what they're looking at. And I try to pick a good problem that actually had something you could really see, because otherwise it could be a lot of things. But in the problem itself, there's a very direct confounding variable. What did they do that could take away from, it would be confusing to know what affected it. Did they only use the drug, or did they do something else that would confound their ability to see the effects?
Are you talking about the placebo?
No, that's just a part of how the studies work. Was there something else they did that could affect the results?
Oh, they recommended?
Yes, the recommended.
they recommended something. I can't
Diet.
remember.
Diet.
Oh yeah.
Shouldn't that be its own study?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're trying to see the effects of the medication, but they did something else at the same time. This kind of thing happens all the time, by the way. In constructing math courses and changing the curriculum, they change several things at once, and it drives me crazy because then I'm like, how do you know which thing is making it better or something? There's no way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. I'm sorry, have I got everybody? Oh yeah, Alejandro. All right, so how to make a box plot. A box plot. Oh, let me turn off my, I thought they smelled bad.
Are we already off of chapter of the quiz 5?
The outside.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Why?
just have a question when we're
What's
done
up?
with that, with the
Go
next
ahead.
question.
What you got? Which one?
Didn't Alejandro have a question right now?
Yes, but I'm on quiz 5. So tell me.
Oh my God, okay. So, I can't believe I got this one wrong. Or I put experimental because she implemented acupuncture. It wasn't just observational.
That's what she
And,
does. She's an acupuncturist, so that's just what she does.
So I
Right.
put it was an experimental study.
But no. Did she do something out of the ordinary? Did she have a control group? Did she?
Oh,
She is an acupuncturist. So this was, and she just looked at, so that was purely observational. Yes.
okay. She just looked. Okay.
And it should have been what instead? It should have, if they're trying to,
Observational study.
no, it was observational, but it should have been experimental such that then they could have a control group that doesn't get acupuncture. Does that make sense? So the acupuncture in this case is sort of like a drug. It isn't a drug, but it takes the place of a drug study, right?
So she did an observational study and it should have been an experimental study.
Yes. Because
I get it.
otherwise, how can you really tell it's the acupuncture? Maybe it could have been in it. It could be she's actually a good therapist, right? And she talking to people is what helps, and the acupuncture does nothing, right? Who knows? All right.
Well, they stick needles in people. That's why I thought she was, that's why. Okay, I get it. I get it.
She didn't have a group that she didn't stick needles into that she considered. So she just
Yeah,
observed
true.
things
true.
that were already happening. She did, yeah. Okay. Now, Alejandro's question is box plots. So the box plot is a visualization of what? There's a 3-word phrase. It's first word sounds like no. So it's a visualization of the 5-number summary, right? How do you find the 5? So if you know how to find the 5-number summary, then it's just drawing the lines for each number. Remember that? How do you find the 5-number summary? What is the 5-number summary? I'll get it started. Low.
Q1, Q2, Q3, high.
High. Yes. And how do you calculate the Qs? We know how to calculate the quartiles, right? That's not what the question is, I'm assuming. So if I had data and the lowest data point was 7, and the first quartile was 11, and the second quartile is 16, third quartile is 17, and the highest one is 18, right? This is what I can see the lowest, I can see the highest, and I calculated the 3 quartiles. Bless you. Sorry.
Oh, I'm still unmuted. Oops.
All good. So, so you make a scale. Your scale could be even more than this. right? But everybody's got to have a place. And then you just draw, here's about 7. Where's 7 down? About there. It's all right, dude. It doesn't have to be perfect. 11 is about right there. 16 is about right there. And 17 is about right there. 18 is about right there. Middle 3 is boxed, and then the whiskers come out like that. So
Okay, that's what I don't get right there.
What's that? Sorry.
The box right there. That's what I don't get.
Now wait. Are you with me when I drew the lines? I guess you're with me when I'm drawing the lines, right? Yes?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so the lines are drawn. Where are the middle 3 lines? Aren't these the middle?
Oh.
Make a box. And this is the middle 50% here, right? 50% of the data is in the box. We talked about it. Don't put that on your picture, but that's just the idea. Because then I can compare it to some other thing, and I can see who's got more variation and whatever, right? Is that all right out there? Surprisingly straightforward for a decent visual. Yes.
So you did the box around the middle?
The middle 3.
Box around the middle 3, and then you mark the middle?
I didn't mark anything. So all I did, so here's the lines, right? There's the lines.
Uh-huh.
Make the box like that. See, that's all I did. That's all I did.
Okay.
And then whiskers come out the sides.
Whiskers. Okay.
Whiskers. Yeah. It's a box of
Okay.
whiskers. I like it.
Okay. I don't remember how to get the Q1, Q2, Q3,
Oh, okay.
Q4.
All right.
I was out during that time. I had to step out.
So let's see. Let's make a list of data real quick. What's this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do 10. Sure, let's do 10. 40, 41. Okay. So can somebody help me? What would the 2 steps be for Q1? What's Q1 mean?
The first quarter.
First quarter. So how far into the list do I want to go? What percentage?
25%.
25% of?
The total.
Yes, and that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 2.5. Is that cool?
Yeah, you're breaking up. Are you breaking up that long line of numbers into quarters?
Nope. I sort of am, but no. Yes, that's the intent. But I'm not really doing that visually. I'm just doing it mathematically. So I want to go 25% of the way into the list. So 25% of the way into the list. Why is that 10? Because it's 10 long. It's 2.5. And this is really bad that you missed this, but what do we do? Either the answer is a decimal or it isn't. What do I do when it's a decimal?
Round up to the next one.
Round up. So the third number is the answer. 1, 2, 3. So then I go get the answer. Q1 would be 15. That's the first quarter. What would Q2? Q2, of course, means second quarter, so that would be 50%. What's 50% of 10?
5.
5, okay. And what does it mean? That's not a decimal. What does that mean to do now?
Move up to the next one. And
Nope.
average the 2.
Oh, there you go. Average the 5th and 6th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want to average those 2. And what is the average of 17 and 21?
It's adding both and dividing by 2, right? Or
Is it
dividing by 10.
19?
19. Or you can just see 19's in the middle, right? So then you find Q3 the same way. It would be 75%. And then you can see the lowest, you can see the highest, and then you make the box plot like we just did. Okay. What time? Oh.
Esther, what is that? It says 50% of 10 equals, and what is that next to that? Is that an S, a 5?
Is that better? Yeah, that's better. It's a 5, right? Because 50% of 10 is 5. Right? Half of 10 is 5. So if I come out to a decimal, round it up, take that number. So even if this was 2.07, I would round up to 3. So the third number would be the answer. If this step comes out to a whole number, I average that with the next one to get the answer. And we know this. What's the 50th percentile of 5 numbers? Isn't it the third number? But what's 50% of 5? 2.5, rounded up to the third number. There you go. Right? Red rum. Shut. No.
I have another separate question, Professor.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you for saying bless you earlier. Secondly, I'm sorry if you discussed this earlier and I missed it. But do we have chapter 7 homework? Because we have it on the homework timeline.
Oh shit! Did I never make a module to turn that in?
Yeah, there's nothing to turn it in, so it just goes up to 6.
Hopefully you guys are actually doing that one because you got to turn the damn thing in. I thought I did. Maybe I just didn't make it. No, I didn't. All right. So let me. Yeah, so I got to make places for you to turn that stuff in. Thank you. Hopefully you guys are understanding. There's a lot happening. And let me see. I've only been online teaching since for not quite a year yet. So I'm not used to all this stuff. So let me create a place for you to turn in, was it 7A and 7B? Is that right? Can't remember what sections. I think it was 7A, 7B. Oh, it's going to help me out. It's okay. Let me see, 7A and B. Okay, so I can make those real quick. Bam. Let me add that in. All right. Oh, I got to make a new module. Unit 7 was, I can't even remember. I'm going to call it stuff. Okay.
Esther, so for extra credit, we have chapter 2 and 12, right?
Yeah, yeah, and what? Anybody? Bueller?
8 and 11.
There you go.
8 and 11?
Dude, yeah, let me show you. Hold on, let me finish this. So now there's places to turn in chapter 7 homework, which makes that easier. Thank you for letting me know. Even if I had never constructed a place to turn in chapter 7 homework, was chapter 7 homework still assigned? Yeah, so don't even, I never made a place for it. Be quiet. Let me show you this. What was it now? What were you just talking about, Nancy?
Extra credit.
Oh, yeah. That's right. So let me show you this. So if you go to the homework timeline sheet, you'll see that it's been updated January 26th. And look down here. Everything in green is extra credit. I feel kind of bad. Exponential growth, like horror movie monsters. It's growing exponentially, right? So that's kind of like what that's about. And then this one is about the Fibonacci sequence, which is near and dear to my heart. And it's actually how math intersects music, intersects intersects art, music, finances. I mean, it's insane. It's insane. So that's kind of.
Oh, that's cool.
Totally. It's one of my favorite things, and I just didn't make time for it. Damn you, Jeff. Oh well. For some reason I thought income tax was more important than Fibonacci sequence. What's wrong with me? Oh well. I mean, Fibonacci sequence is how nature builds on itself. It's anyway, sorry. So if you want to do that extra credit, feel free. If you search Fibonacci music or Fibonacci stock market or Fibonacci skateboard or whatever, I can almost guarantee there's a connection. It's crazy. Fibonacci. All right, guys. I kind of told you, I don't want to make you feel like you must let me go, but I do have that meeting that started 4 minutes ago. So it'd be awesome if nobody had any more questions. I could go there, but I'm still here. If you have any questions, you are my main focus. What's up?
I'm gonna be back at 5 because I don't have my questions yet. I'm still on homework 5
Okay.
and need to see what's on 6 and 7 still. So,
Yeah, and don't forget, at this point, you might want to start trying to skip around a bit. Don't try to do every single problem because it's better to do some from all than all from some.
But do you still get
Better to
credit
do a
for that?
stratified approach than a cluster for homework. What?
You still get credit for that though?
You get more than 0 credit, but what's the most important thing? Practice
Yes.
or the heaviest weighted things. That is the most important thing. So if you don't do every homework assignment, every homework problem, you might not get full credit for the homework, but who gives the first shit? Nobody should give the first shit. It's about practice for the heavily weighted things. Midterm, fun, right? Quizzes.
Oh, yeah.
So if we're all good to just go off and start doing some homework.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, if you're all good, go off and then come back at 5 if you have more questions, or come in tomorrow at 8. My office hours still start at 8, or come in at 9. The first 30 minutes are devoted to any last minute questions people have. Isn't that great?
Cool.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Professor.
Sure. If there's a ton of questions, we can even start well, I don't know if I want to start the final later. We'll find out. Let's try to stick to it. Whoa! Is everybody else good? You guys all right? I'm gonna head out. I might see some of you guys later. Or see
Thank
guys
you.
tomorrow.
Also, I'll be here at 5 for sure. Thanks, Professor. Bye, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Bye, guys. Thanks, guys.